I guess like the White Sox, another team that disappointed this year, but did a great job at the deadline itself, and it kind of ties into Max Scherzer, but the New York Mets, as far as what they were able to do to basically purchase some very high-end minor league talent and some guys that are really, really exciting. In that Scherzer deal, they brought over Ronald Acuna's brother, Luis Angel, who right now is batting 315 with a 377 OBP. He's the number 44 prospect in the game, five-tool player, can play a ton of positions. I mean, they're talking about superstar caliber type player who could probably slot in at second base or somewhere in the outfield for them, maybe in the next year or so. So keep your eyes on him. In the Verlander deal, they were able to bring back two top-rated outfielders in the Astros, system. Both guys, again, good average, good on-base percentage guys with some power. Both young Double-A type players in Drew Gilbert, Ryan Clifford. They got some extra depth over in the Robertson deal with Marco Vargas and Ronald Hernandez, an infielder and a catcher. They both have very high weighted runs created, plus metrics in terms of like how they stack up against their peers. Like they are well above their peers with exceptional walk to strikeout ratios at the dish. So it's like these guys are just great contact hitters, and they're both like I think 18 and 19 years old, respectively. So essentially, they looked at their year. They understood, hey, we were a team that coming into this year. We were supposed to be World Series contenders. This whole operation failed, but hey, we are aware of that. We've recognized that. We're not going to double down on our failures here. We're not going to dig ourselves a deeper hole for our future. And we have all the capital available to us to make these, moves and the transition much smoother into the future. So we'll trade two guys that are probably, already in their 40s or over, who can command a lot of value on the market. Obviously, we have to throw more money at our problem. They ended up paying like a pretty good share of both guys' contracts in Scherzer and Verlander. But to be able to bring back three guys that will probably end up somewhere in the top 100 prospects this year in those two separate deals, I think is a great start. And then also kind of go out and grab a bunch of other depth in some minor deals with some other guys. They're moving Mark Canha and Dominic Leone, a reliever. It was like they got a really high score on the trade deadline overall, like just in terms of their transactions. They're obviously a year or more away from kind of being maybe a contender again in the NL East, but overall you kind of have to tip your cap to a team that, as we look around the league, and I'll get into my losers, but there are some teams that don't look themselves in the mirror and don't shake, kind of that pride in terms of, hey, I put this team together. It's not working. It doesn't, it's not going to work, but I'm not going to admit that. There's a lot of GMs like that in the league, and I'm just glad Billy Epler and team understood that and just made the moves they had to make.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those. So yeah, I definitely agree. Actually, it's one of those. If they were winning, if the Mets were top of the division, then the outcome or the story right now would be different. But they kind of just made the best with what they had. So, and it's like, okay, how long did we expect also Verlander and Scherzer to be there? I think they were on 2-year deals or something. So, they're like, okay, this year is not going to work out. Let's see if we can maximize the trade value of these two players here. And then they did. So I think that's kind of what they did. They just rolled with the punches, essentially. And yeah, they got some nice young talent there. And to your point, they have one of the richest owners, or somebody that really cares about spending money here for the Mets. So, why not figure out what's going to happen in the future? But yeah, right now it's like, all right, let's max out the trade values of these two, Hall of Fame pitchers here and see what we can get from them. And then, still have some young talent. Players in the prime, right? So let's see if we can surround them maybe in the next couple of years with, some free agents there.
Yeah. I mean, one analyst, covering the deadline pointed to it and saying, like, the guy is going out and he's buying prospects. He's going out and he's spending money to pull over prospect talent that is going to be controllable for many, many years. And if really money is no object, you can obviously, once you build a core that kind of moves up, is ready to kind of be your next Braves, your next Blue Jays, your next White Sox in a way. You then go out and supplement with some real core, veterans and high price free agents, and there you go. You got a playoff team and a good mix for the future. So, just to me, smart on them. Although, again, we talk about like winner of a season, like they definitely fall in the losers bracket in that sense because they just had a rough go of it. But yeah, overall, I guess those are our winners. Wayne, do you have a first loser to kind of put on the board here?
Man, losers. So it's interesting. I think